So there are a list of events that you can track using Zapier. So the first one is getting a DAO created, and all the events are pretty much self-explanatory. And in this video, mostly we'll use the application, like the grant applied to, and the application update, and show you how the entire flow can be customized, and the data can be then integrated with some other third-party app like HubSpot in this case. So yeah, this DAO is created. So let's go on and create a grant. Great. So we have the application here, and now we'll go on to Zapier and see how we can use and basically access this data. So this is the trigger that we want to use, that gets triggered whenever a grant has been applied to. So we need to enter the chain ID for the network that we have applied to in the grant. So I know the chain ID, and I need to fetch the DAO ID as well. So for that, I can go to the profile and see from here the DAO ID is this one. So let's test the trigger. Great, we have the data here. Now we need to build the next steps, which includes integrating HubSpot. So I've already logged into HubSpot, and this is the list of tickets that are currently present, with there are none. But we need to create one whenever an application is received. Yeah. So as the name of the ticket, I'm going to give the name of the application, and the stage will be a newly created ticket, and we can give the create date and other fields as well. So yeah, this is the creation time, and we can just access some extra data to in the description section of the ticket. So I'll just um, do that. Then these are some of the data that we might include, and for the tag part, we can use the grant title. So all the applications that come under one grant can be then grouped. So once this is set up, let's test this. Great. Yeah, here we have it. So if you have a take a preview of this, you can see that the various data that we had fetched there is available here. So let's turn this Zap on, and we'll put a name to this application received. Right. Great. Now we'll move on to the next step, wherein as a DAO we might want to accept this application. So we do that. Great. So this is now approved, and let's see how we can get this data on Zapier. So we create another Zap, and now the trigger that we're going to use is this one, application update. The same thing goes on here. We know it from the previous step. Let's test the trigger. Great, we have it. So the state of the application is approved. Now, if we, first of all, now what we need to do is find the ticket that the application created had. So before updating it on HubSpot, we need to find the ticket ID so that we can access the ticket using that ID and then update it. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go to HubSpot, and instead of updating the ticket, we'll do find ticket. So the property by which we're gonna find the ticket is the name of the ticket, which in our case is the application title. So we're gonna select the application title from here, and let's see if it can find the ticket or not. Great, it found the ticket here. So this part of this app is working fine. Now let's add the part where it will update the ticket. The object ID comes from the previous step where we found what the ticket ID was. All of these value remains the same, except for the fact that the ticket stage, we might want to change it to something else. Waiting on contact. And like in the previous case, we might want to add the data that we are going to fetch from here. So let's reduce this. Let's do a bit of formatting here, and yeah, we are good to go. Let's test this trigger. Great. So previously the application state and all of it was this. Now if we refresh, we have got the ticket here, and the preview tells us that the state of the application has changed to approved. Now this is application update. Great. Great. So let's see now how sending a milestone payment might reflect on HubSpot. So we'll just do that here. So let's try and send some money for this particular milestone. So a transaction of one seller has happened and the applicant should have received funding for his milestone. So let's see how this will be reflected. So this one is the most latest data, and from here, if we choose to test this application, we can do that. And on HubSpot, as you can see right now, the total milestone amount paid is 0 seller. We refresh it, and if we look for a preview, you have it here. Total milestone amount paid is 1 seller. Yeah, so basically this is how you can access all the data that you have on our platform and create triggers using Zapier and use that to update, like integrate Zapier into whichever platform or integration you want.